Hey guys, today what we're going to do is the associative property of multiplication. Just to review what we did last time, we talked about three different properties. We have the zero property, where zero always wins. This means that the product of any number and zero is always equal to zero. So 8 times 0 is equal to 0. The identity property of multiplication states that the product of any number and 1 is that other number. So 5 times 1, 5 is times by 1 here, so that means that the answer will be 5. So 248 times 1 would equal 248. 1 times 8 equals 8. So it's whatever the other number is. And then finally we talked about the commutative property of multiplication. That's saying that two factors can switch places in an equation and they could equal the same product. So 2 times 5 is the same thing as 5 times 2. And 3 times 6 is the same thing as 6 times 3. So what we're going to work on today is the associative property. The root word is associate. So if you think about associate like how you associate with your friends, I think that people are associating with each other, and so that makes them friends. And then also what you associate together. So peanut butter and jelly are usually associated together, kind of like milk and Oreos, or milk and cookies, or toothbrush and toothpaste, anything that you put together in your mind. So the associative property of multiplication does the same thing. It's where you can group the factors in different ways, and you'll get the same exact product. So grouping 2 of the 3 factors, and then multiplying the other factor. And we'll show you that in a minute. I know that can kind of sound weird when I say it out loud. To do that, we're going to do one way to solve it, and one way to check our work. And I want you to remember that there's king parentheses. King parentheses means that he is going to go first. So whenever you put parentheses around 2 factors, that means those 2 factors are going to start your equation. So let's do this. 2 times 3 times 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair 2 factors. To pair the 2 factors, I'm just going to start with the first 2 factors, so 2 times 3. I'm going to put parentheses around them. Next, I'm going to multiply those 2 factors together, so 2 times 3 is 6. And then I'm going to drag down this other 2 and multiply it with 6. So I have 6 times 2, and I know that 6 times 2 equals 12. I know this because I just know my fact families. However, if you need to watch your multiplication video from yesterday, you can watch that, and then that will help you. You can use circle groups or whatever you want. Now I'm going to check my work with a different way. That means I'm going to put my parentheses in a different spot. So instead of the first 2 factors, I'm going to put my parentheses around the second 2 factors, and that's 3 times 2. Now in this one, it looks very similar to each other, and that's okay. You can do it like that. That's perfectly fine. Alright, so 3 times 2 equals 6, and then I'm going to pull down the other 2, so 2 times 6 equals 12. If your answers are the same both times, then yay, you got it. But if your answers are not the same, you have a mistake, and you need to go back and check your work again. So since both of my answers are 12, that means my answer to 2 times 3 times 2 is equal to 12. Now you are going to try, you're going to pause my video, and you're going to solve this. 3 times 2 times 4. I want you to make sure that you're using king parentheses, and you're also showing me in 2 different ways. Make sure your parentheses are in different places for each of the ways. Alright, your time is up. If you need to pause this video and solve it, which you probably do that please. So let's go ahead and reveal the answers. So I have paired them up already. I paired the first 2 factors up for the first one, and then the last 2 factors up for the second one. So just to solve the first one, I did 3 times 2 equals 6. I pulled down the 4, so 6 times 4 equals 24. On the other side, I have 3 times 2 times 4, where the 2 and the 4 are paired. So I pulled down the 3, and I did 2 times 8, and 2 times 4 equals 8, and 3 times 8 equals 24. If you have any problems or concerns with how to do this, reach out. I'll give you some extra resources